clocks, we're going to get rolling. I just want to say a couple of things. Thank you to all of you who have supported these kids throughout the season. It's been kind of a rough one, but we've learned a lot, and it's been pretty interesting. It's been cool to see how much they've grown. I do want to congratulate all of our medalists. One in particular, Reagan Wrestler, was mid-state champion in poetry. We have districts this coming Saturday at Columbus SCOTUS. It's going to be a tough one, but I think we can show up.
Feature district humorous champion right here.
Confidence is a vital part of the education. And then I do want to recognize Brie Hammock. She is our one and only senior this year.
They're very beautiful.
Right? You don't know 4 years? Yeah, that's what I thought. 4-year senior. Every single year she's come out and she's grown and worked hard, and we're excited to see what she does on Saturday. And we thank her very much for her leadership. So without further ado, your first act is the Golden Girls. Oh, wait. Enjoy the show.
And that's it. That's the whole show.
That's the whole show. You guys are good now.
You're just ready.
Oh.
Hey, I don't know if you're scared cat.
Pretty nice.
Are you going to put your shoes on? Oh, actually,
Okay.
Girls, guess what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why do you always come into a room and say, girls? Do you see Molly Ringwald's in here?
You're awfully cranky today.
Well, forgive me. My arthritis is bothering me. My social security check was late, and I realized today I haven't showered with a man in 22 years.
Ma, Pop's been dead for 27 years.
What's your point?
What are you saying?
Well, isn't it obvious, Dorothy? She showered with a dead man for 5 years.
Girls, what did you want?
I got 2 tickets to the hottest Norwegian musical in town.
Rose, you really tempted me, but I have other plans.
You have a date? Never say that while I'm eating.
I'm teaching history for an adult education program. It's for people who never got their high school diplomas.
Well, what else do they teach?
The usual high school subjects.
You mean like the 3 R's? Reading, writing, and rooster inseminating?
No, just the first 2 R's.
Fine, but you'll be sending people into the world who don't know. You can get a nasty rooster bite if you don't warm your hands up first.
Girls, does this dress me?
It's too tight, it's too short, and it shows too much cleavage for a woman your age.
Yes, Blanche, it's you.
Another date with your mystery man.
Oh, honey, he's no mystery man.
No? Then how come you've been out with him 4 times and we don't know anything about it?
Well, there is one little thing. Oh my, that must be him. Would you get the door, please, Dorothy?
Hello.
Do 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 do. Thank you for being a friend. Do 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 do. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.
Everyone needs a friend. They get us through the toughest times and are there for the most exciting.
This is no different for our 4 aging but vivacious pals.
Rose, the sweet, naive Midwestern girl.
Dorothy, the gruff, sarcastic divorcee.
Sophia, Dorothy's vibrant, quick-tongued mother.
Fidel,
the hot love interest.
Yes, secondary character.
And Blanche, the promiscuous Southern Belle.
In this 1988 episode of The Golden Girls called Yes, We Have No Havanas.
The lady shenanigans involve romance and intrigue because even middle-aged women need to maintain that spark.
Yes, We Have No Havanas.
Written by Susan Willis, Barry Fennerow,
And Mort Nathan.
Hello.
Oh, hello. We thought you were Blanche's date, but you're way too old.
Hola, Blanche.
Hello, sweetheart. Oh, come here. I want you to meet all my friends. Everybody, this is Fidel Santiago.
How do you do? Very nice to meet you.
It is always a pleasure to meet such beautiful ladies such as yourselves. And you must be Sophia. Your face looks awfully familiar. Was your picture of her on a cigar box?
Mom.
No, she's right. That was my father. May we continue, Commandant? My family once owned the largest tobacco plantation in all of Cuba. Did you know that at one time I was the most famous Fidel in the entire country? Until you know who showed up.
Who?
Rex the Wonder Horse.
How did you know about Santiago cigars? My husband was a fan. Not the cigars, the boxes. We used to keep all our fine cutlery in one.
Blanche was right. She said you were incorrigible.
I guess I deserved it.
Maybe we'd best get going. It was a pleasure to meet you all.
Well, I guess that solves the mystery.
I'll say, who would have thought Blanche would date someone that long in the tooth?
Girls, I am just beside myself without seeing another woman.
Are you sure?
Yes, we used to see each other constantly. Now I'm lucky to see him twice a week. If he's not with another woman, what else could he be doing? I've never cared for a man as much as Fidel. Santa Domingo.
Santiago?
Whatever. The point is, he's rich, he's handsome, and I've never cared for a man as much as him. And we were made for each other, even if I don't speak Mexican.
Spanish.
Whatever. I just don't know what I'm gonna do.
Oh, calm down, Blanche. You know, there's probably a very logical explanation.
You know, you're probably right. Why would he want another woman? After all, he's dipped his toes in the lake known as Blanche.
Since we all had such a bad day, let's go out for dinner. It's on me.
Ooh,
Sounds great.
I'll go grab my purse.
Let's get crazy. We'll eat Chinese and use force. I know. We'll just tell him it's one of our birthdays and screw him out of the cake.
Thanks for dinner, Dorothy. It was just delicious.
And eating ice cream in the park is the perfect way to end the evening.
Yes, in fact, I had such a good time, I forgot all about, what's his name?
Fidel?
Oh, honey, I know his name.
No, I mean, there he is. And he has his arms around another woman.
Fidel Santiago!
My papers are in order. Oh, hello, Blanche.
What in the hell is going on here? Blanche, how could you be so deceitful? What is it? Is she younger? More attractive? More desirable?
You got 2 out of 3, Blanche.
Sophia, what the hell's going on here?
He's a man. I'm a woman. I've got what it takes, and he knows how to use it.
I think I'm gonna use my lunch.
Listen, Fidel, don't sugarcoat it for her. Look, we happen to be an item. I'm wearing his medical art bracelet.
When did this start?
Well, you see, I've been allergic to penicillin ever
No! Not that, I mean this sick relationship.
Por favor, let me explain. I still care for you deeply. I did not mean for this to happen. I would just go pick you up and talk to Sophia. And to my delight, I found her very hot. Interesting. Look, ladies, I am just so glad this is all out in the open. You're both such wonderful women, and I would like to continue seeing both of you. But of course, that is a decision that you two will have to make.
Of all the nerve, how could you possibly think I'd continue seeing him? Blanche Devereaux has never shared a man.
Or pizza.
And what's that supposed to mean, you wrinkled old crow?
It means Fidel is interested in more than just a cheap thrill. He also wants a mind.
Oh yeah? We'll see about that.
You're on, baby. Fidel, stop! Even surgical stockings only have so much elastic. Oh, hello. I thought you would be asleep by now.
Girls, this nightgown is just so sheer, I believe you can see right through it. Oh, hello, Fidel.
Hello, Blanche. How are you?
Oh, you don't got cataracts, you tell me.
Beady, you 50-year-old mattress.
Oh, you miserable old...
You know the rules. When one of you is out with Fidel, the other one does not interfere.
You're right. My apologies. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go take a long, hot, steamy bath with just enough water to barely cover my perky bosoms.
You're only gonna sit in an inch of water?
Oh, that does it!
Ladies, let's behave in a more civilized manner.
You're right. I apologize for that.
So do I.
Well, good night, my beautiful ladies. Good night.
I'll see you ending for lunch.
And 6 for dinner.
10 for dancing.
Midnight for dessert.
Dessert at midnight?
There's always room for Jell-O.
I just hate you. I regret the day you ever moved in here.
And I regret the day I gave birth to you.
I'm not your daughter.
I'm your daughter.
Oh yeah. I need a bromo salsa.
I'm the cheesecake.
Oh, Blanche, I hate seeing Sophia fighting like this.
She's trying to steal my man, and no one ever steals a man from Blanche Devereaux. Right.
Blanche, this is all about your ego, isn't it?
Ego. Dorothy, I have no ego. And you can ask the hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of men who would gladly cut their right arm off to sleep with me.
Blanche, I agree with Dorothy. I don't even think he'd be interested in Fidel if he wasn't dating another woman.
Girls, look, I know it seems strange, but I happen to have strong feelings for Fidel. I can't explain it. Yet again, some things in life defy explanation.
Blanche, I want to talk to you.
I'm in no mood to fight.
Neither am I. That's what I want to talk about. We've been running each other ragged for weeks trying to outdo each other. It has to stop.
I'm not giving up Fidel, Sophia.
I am. You're younger, you're prettier. In the end, he'll choose you and it'll break my heart. He's yours, Blanche. No hard feelings.
Sophia, wait. Why don't you take Fidel? You know, I've got all those other boyfriends after all.
Okay, good night.
Sophia!
Hey, terrific. Where are you going tonight?
Fidel will take me to the Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater to see Ruth Buzzy and Evita.
Dorothy, where the hell are you going?
To the Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater with Fidel.
That's impossible. You invited me yesterday after the movies.
He invited me yesterday after dinner.
This was bound to happen. The two of you have run that man ragged for weeks. It's no wonder he got confused.
Hello? Confused? How could he confuse this young, nubile body with that
Are you sure?
raisin and sneakers? There's only one way to settle this. I'm going.
The hell you are! I'm going.
Neither one of you is going. Fidel's not coming.
Where is he?
Sophia! Lon, no! Alyssa! Kendra! We killed him!
No, we might as well put a gun to the poor Fidel's head.
We were too much for him. His spirit was willing, but his poor heart couldn't take it.
A silly competition did this to him.
Oh, come on, you two. The man was in his 70s. These things just happen. He had nothing to do with his heart giving out.
Dorothy, everyone here is a woman.
We are gathered here today to honor the memory of a man who had suddenly been taken from us.
What are you looking at me for? Just keep talking.
Fidel Santiago was a very loving man. He was kind, caring, and loving. He brought joy into the lives of all he had touched.
I had the feeling he touched everyone in the room.
Fidel Santiago lived life.
Hold it. Which of you was Fidel's girlfriend?
1, 2, 3, 4.
25.
Oh my, he had his burrow, his every bedpost in this town.
But that's good news, girls. That means our cheap animal like us didn't have anything to do with killing Fidel.
I'm leaving. I'm not about to mourn a man who's been with every woman in the room.
Hold it. If you don't mind my saying so, that man in that box was a bum, a scoundrel, a cheat, and a liar.
You got that right.
Quiet. I work alone. But there was another side to him, and it was beautiful. He awakened feelings in me I haven't felt in 35 years. We used to hug and kiss and hold hands, and it was nice. He made me feel attractive and desirable again. He probably made the rest of you feel that way too. And looking out at this kennel club, that was no. You may all hate Fidel right now, but I know the next time I'm sitting in a park on a warm, sunny day, and I smell the aroma of a cheap cigar, I'll think of Fidel Santiago, and I'll smile.
Ma, that was very sweet.
Oh, Sophia, can you ever forgive me for all those ugly things I said?
Of course, it was said in the heat of a battle.
You know, we had to do this whole thing over again. I'd let you have him.
Oh, you're so generous. The man's packing material. Now you're letting me have him. I have co-rats livelier than him. She's giving him to me. The man's face has more powder on it than Ann Miller's. And she's giving him to me. A piece of lumber would make a better dancing partner. Thanks for Niente.
incredibly persuasive speaker, Valerie Scott. Education funding. Okay, so you got to dip. You go to the other room for your other thing.
Yeah, but like the last one. Oh wait,
I'm the last one.
You'll take it, girl.
I'll take it.
Unnecessary government spending is constantly a hot-button topic, regardless of political beliefs or affiliations. According to the Reader's Digest in 2021, the Federal Register wastes $1 million a year printing a document that is free and accessible online. $3 million of government money has gone towards studying the effects of steroids on hamster aggression. In June of 2017, the United States Pentagon spent $28 million on green camouflage, but for soldiers stationed in the largely desert nation of Afghanistan. Government spending habits like these are very telling. Our elected officials are happy to shell out the bucks for a hamster fight club, but they aren't willing to ensure that every child is guaranteed a high-quality education. Educating our youth affects the future of this country economically and our overall well-being as a developed society. Having an education system that is undeniably underfunded will not serve us well moving forward. The federal government must take responsibility for funding our education system. To illustrate this, we'll first take a look at examples of how schools are underfunded. Next, discover how standardized testing is not a good use of educational funds. And lastly, discovering how reallocating our military budget is a viable solution to amp up our education budget. Let's discuss how we can create a better future for our world through improving the way we fund our education. Now, let's take a look at what happens when schools are underfunded. A 2018 article published by The Guardian paints the picture of an extremely underfunded school district in the state of Oklahoma. This school had 2,000 students in a building with a capacity of 1,200. Many of their teachers don't have their own classrooms, and their textbooks haven't been updated for several years. Fortunately, we in rural Nebraska are lucky when it comes to support for our schools. But just because we don't experience as great of needs doesn't mean that this is an issue we can turn a blind eye to. When many students across America experience dilapidated school buildings and classrooms void of necessary resources. The National School Board Association stated in a 2021 article that 53% of all 8th grade students attend a school that needs repairs of some kind, and 40% of 8th grade teachers don't have an adequate space to work. A school in Michigan has to have an engineer on site at all times to prevent the century-old boiler from exploding. On top of the basic issue of sound brick and mortar, teachers are more and more often making the decision to leave the classroom. Teacher resignation has increased in Florida alone by 67%. This then leads to a substantial issue, overcrowding. Due to lack of teachers, more and more classrooms across America are spilling to overcapacity, and the teachers that are continuing to teach are struggling to accommodate for so many students intellectually and emotionally. Despite advocacy for more funding and better treatment of our nation's educators, not much change has occurred. The horror stories across American schools will continue to multiply unless we do something drastic to fix the root of the problem. Now, let's discuss how standardized testing isn't a good use of educational funds. Limited funding does not leave much margin for error. Unfortunately, there is a large amount of misplaced funds when it comes to education budgets. A prime example of this is standardized testing. Standardized testing is built on the notion that students learn, retain, and convey this information in the same way. However, we know that this could not be further from the truth. And yet, standardized testing is a one-size-fits-all method and is heavily emphasized in the American education system. Not only is the educational benefit slim to none, but standardized testing is expensive. An article published by the Syracuse Student News Organization stated that the price of standardized testing summed up to $1.7 billion in 2021. If school districts could forego standardized testing, that money could go towards areas that are far more important. We could then funnel that money into our education system and solve a plethora of problems that would otherwise go unaddressed. An example of how we could better use this funding is published by the Syracuse Student News Organization, which states that an after-school program would cost less than $190 a month, and a new science textbook for a student would cost less than $40 and a trip to your nearest Barnes & Noble. However, even providing a student with a new textbook comes with its own complications. A 2019 book entitled "We Want to Do More Than Survive," written by Bettina L. Love, a professor of education at the University of Georgia, states that notable textbook companies such as Pearson Education, Houghton Mifflin, and McGraw-Hill all make over $2 billion in annual revenue, but spend over $20 million lobbying for more standardized testing. The companies in charge with providing educational resources across America are also profiting off of standardized testing. Breaking this cycle that goes from textbook companies to standardized testing companies could allow for that funding to be better utilized. This also makes it evident that educational funding needs to be more carefully considered. This will ensure that every dollar is being used beneficially. Our classrooms could be more individualized and they could be smaller. These outdated and biased standardized tests could be a thing of the past, allowing for more efficient and effective allocation of school funding. Now, let's discuss how diverting our military budget is a viable solution to amp up the education budget. The National Center for Educational Statistics published in a 2021 article that 92% of educational funding comes from taxes, a large percentage of this coming from property taxes. This is a large burden to bear, especially in rural America. This then brings up the issue of inequity in funding. This makes it so a school in Southern California would attain far more funding than a school in small-town Nebraska. Switching to a system of mainly federal funding would ensure that every child in America would benefit from the same level of funding. But currently, the educational budget is such a small fraction of the federal budget. The United States Census Bureau stated in a 2021 article that the federal spending for education in 2019 was $57.9 billion. Compared to the military budget, that is a very small sum of money. The Brookings Institute noted that the U.S. military spent roughly $750 million in that same year, a nearly $700 billion difference. While having a well-funded military has its advantages, it's time for us to reflect on the immense prioritization our military gets over other programs like education. There is room to discern which military missions are not necessary, or which weapons are too expensive or ineffective to be worth such massive dollar amounts. We could then funnel that money into our nation's education and solve a plethora of problems that would otherwise go unaddressed. This tactic would not only produce positive side effects for the general public, but it would be beneficial for all facets of what it means to live in America. While having a well-funded military is necessary to protect our nation and other nations, educating future generations should be of equal priority. Diverting our national spendings and making wise financial decisions would make us better able to provide for our education system. Our classrooms could be more individualized and teachers could be paid a wage that matches their work. After all, they do have arguably the most important job in our society. All in all, carefully choosing how our nation's money is spent will open up more opportunities for education. Every child is entitled to a great education and the resources necessary for success. Our country needs to begin improving our education for future generations, and the federal government needs to step up in regards to providing the necessary resources. To illustrate how this could be possible, we first took a look at examples of how schools are underfunded. Next, discovered how standardized testing is not a good use of educational resources. And lastly, we examined how diverting our military budget is a viable solution to amp up the education budget. Classrooms could cease to crumble, teachers could be paid a wage that matches their work, and students could benefit from more personalized learning and fewer standardized tests. It's safe to say that our education system could use the billions of wasted funding more than Hamster Fight Club.
Okay, so now we're gonna have our entertainment speaker, Hannah Miller, with BFF. I didn't say the actual title, so give it away. Oh, I don't want you watching mine. No. I was kind of confused that you did it.
Annie, wouldn't you say this is right
Shush. Don't start it again. Don't start it again.
Oh, to enter, oh, I get it. That's so funny. So silly. You should write that.
Thank you.
No, Haley did.
Natural bone.
No, literally they went back and forth for like 10 minutes just on Saturday with different rounds.
Really?
You're gonna enter this way. You're all sitting there. Isn't it kind of humorous? Yeah, that one.
It's a very serious subject.
No, all these jokes are just very extemporaneous.
Want to make a call?
Stop! That was the kiss of the line, and this is you.
About Mr. Rocky, I'm a no card.
I think she should do it just for.
Yeah,
She
she
should.
totally should.
The whole time sitting.
I couldn't come up with a replacement word.
I'll just draw on the marker board as I go.
Just here's Mr. Rocky.
This is Mr. Rocky.
And here's Taylor Swift.
I think you should.
That's right.
Nothing to do with the speech.
No, yeah, you could just pick up random things and be like,
This is Mr. Rocky, and it's really like a picture of something completely
Or it's
different.
a mark, it's like the eraser.
This is Mr. Rocky.
It's like Taylor Swift.
shake it off, guys.
Stop it. You're so done. You're so done.
All of us.
Do you think I should promote my entertainment for Mr. Rocky?
Wait, you didn't get to see it?
No,
Is that what you guys are talking about?
He's never seen it.
We were saying she could just draw and be like, this is Mr. Rocky, and this is Taylor Swift.
I have my no card.
I think she should do that instead of humorous.
I think she
I should do
Do
both.
both.
I'll do the entertainment first.
You have to stay.
I'll stay.
She just went back here.
How long was it?
You still have your note card?
I've been here for days.
Pass that note card back, let me read it.
Don't
I'm
make
sure I really want to do this.
It's funny. It's hilarious. It's not. It's not gonna hurt his feelings.
It might hurt you.
He's about to get his feelings.
He's gonna give you detention.
Are you ready?
I'm gonna
Oh yeah.
don't forget.
Don't forget this.
Stop.
You'll see what I mean later. No.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I get some.
You know, I have this. Do you need me to time you?
No. I don't want to.
Out of my head.
No.
Okay. Are you gonna hold it? I just won't. Okay. There's a famous phrase I like to use in my life. You are what you eat. Maybe I should start eating skinny people. Hi, I'm Hannah, and today I want to be your BFF. No, not BFF as in best friend forever. BFF as in best fat friend. But before we can be BFFs, there's some things you need to know. First, we'll chew through my personal testimony. Next, we'll weigh in with the pros and cons of being the fat kid. Yikes. And then finally, we'll burn calories with the do's and don'ts of people with fat friends. Be ready because, pardon my phrasing, this is a heavy topic. First, let's chew through my personal testimony of life as a beluga whale. Ever since I was young, I've always been big. Big being an understatement. I was the girl you did not want to sit at a lunch bench with. Not if you wanted both cheeks on the seat, that is. I became motivated to lose weight in 9th grade when my gym teacher yelled at me and laughed when I told him I was running as fast as I could during the jogging warm-ups. However, my failure in that journey was as big as my double chin, as you could probably tell. No matter what diet, exercise, or combination of both I did, the extra pounds would not come off. Then there was the incident. I went outside in a yellow coat, and someone called for a taxi. After that, I gave up. I just accepted that I was bound to walk into every classroom, fat rolls jiggling the whole way, every day. My dumb thick thighs are cursed to be forever chafed. Next, let's weigh in with the pros and cons of being the fat kid. What's it mean when a scale says error? Well, there are a lot of pros. The cons there are rivals the number I see every time I step on a scale. I'll keep this brief. One of the only pros is that anyone who loves me will love me for my amazing personality, not my looks. While a bit backhanded, this pro makes it a little easier to roll out of bed every day. I just have to remember that on the inside, I'm a skinny queen. Next, the cons. There are 3 major cons we need to discuss today. The first is that I sweat. A lot. I can just sit down and I'll end up drenched in sweat. The urge to roll myself in mud, like my piggy ancestors, is almost unbearable during these times. The next con is that people at my school find me unattractive because I'm bigger. But hey, these juicy fat rolls are sexy, and every hippo deserves love. I'm just looking for my moto. I haven't found him yet, but I won't give up. The last con is that everything is 10 times harder for me than your average skinny girl. Want a burger? Get stared at. Because I guess fat people don't deserve to eat. Go on a walk with your friends? Get asked where? Give me a minute. Breathing and sweating so hard despite the slow pace. Dating shows exclusively have skinny women, and the only exercise app I've found to be helpful consists of a hot anime boy who mercilessly bullies you until you work out. I am tired of people playing a tuba each step I take in the band room. This isn't Comedy Central, guys. The only roast I need goes in a crock pot. The discrimination I face because of my weight is bigger than my love handles. And the truth sometimes hurts. Fat people have feelings too, you know. The bigger the person, the bigger the feelings. Trust me, I would know. Last but not least, let's burn some colors with the do's and don'ts of people with fat friends. There are 3 major do's and don'ts of people with fat friends. Number 1, don't ever ask, are you still hungry? I can't be satisfied with a piece of lettuce. You count your calories, I'll count down to dinner. Mind your business. 2, offer me food. Just because I'm gigantic doesn't mean I don't get hungry. Skinny people eat one salad and suddenly become dietitians. Stop gatekeeping my gargantuan gut. Number 2, don't offer them clothes. There will be no clothes swapping. You are but an ant compared to my elephant-like stature. I won't fit. Thanks, but no thanks. Your clothes could not contain this. 2, take me to inclusive stores. I love shopping, but stop taking me to stores like Route 21. The 21 stands for your BMI. If you don't know what a BMI is, don't talk to me. And last but not least, number 3, the most important rule. Don't ever call them pretty after they talk about being fat. Like, okay, but did I say I was ugly? Thanks for the backhanded compliment. I feel so much better. Dude, be their hype man. Please, no one else is Grandma liked how I looked in her blouse. I was too big for my dress clothes. Now that Grandma's gone, R.I.P. My mom is carrying this task alone, and her back is absolutely breaking from the weight of it all. It'll be quite the workout, but don't be discouraged. Like I said earlier, my niece's personality makes up for it. Man, you really broke a sweat today. Not unusual for me, but don't worry. I still feel pretty on the inside. Today, we chewed through my personal testimony of life as a beluga whale. Next, we weighed in with the pros and cons of being the fat kid. I gained weight during this speech. And finally, we burned calories with the do's and don'ts of people with fat friends. Hopefully, with this knowledge, you skinny people can now truly understand what it's like for people that are thick with 3 C's. If there's one thing you should retain from this speech, however, let it be this. It's okay to not be skinny. You don't have to look like supermodels on Instagram. The ancient beauty standard in Rome was chubby women, and the era statues were beautiful. Their timeless beauty reminds me that it's okay to not look super skinny or any particular way. Love yourself for who you are. Easier said than done, I would know. But as soon as you start loving yourself for the way you look and who you are, the better your life's gonna be. I may look like a chicken nugget, but hey, chicken nuggets are delicious!
Reagan and Haley, you guys gotta go there.
Yep, please.
No, I just want you to watch it.
I
I don't want them watching. I don't want anybody watching. I saw it. That was so good.
It's gonna stop.
Time for Shakespeare's lady.
Are you the announcer?
Yeah,
Oh, you need it?
probably. Time for Shakespeare's lady, go girls.
Isn't it your
No?
Great, great.
You got it. I can't.
Do you want me to leave?
Why did you?
Do you want them to go first?
Yeah.
What are the 2 funny ones?
I'm gonna literally cry.
Okay. Alright, Shakespeare's ladies, you guys go first.
Oh, I can't. That's so gross.
You took the gross part out.
That sounds like a skinny person.
That sounds like a track.
Cardio is for people with tiny bodies. You ran here, dude.
That's why I'm in pain.
Exactly. Sorry.
That's not my story.
I hope it's not her story.
I have this courage without a seal.
Can't eat it. And then if you want to, we can.
We're gonna let Jason do her entertainment for the
And so everyone to everyone, and then he wants to say for a specific show.
He said he would.
Alright.
I really kind of want to see it.
Are you guys ready?
We need Hannah.
I said I was trying to be bigger in my...
Don't just set up there.
Hannah.
not the abode of the youthful Juliet.
Methinks it is, Portia. Quite a place, n'est-ce pas? They must keep a gardener on full-time salary.
Oh, indeed, Catherine. The Capulets are well heeled financially. 'Twill be quite a prize that he who weds the fair Juliet will capture.
Dost thou think it will be this young buck Romeo?
Perchance it will be, for I'm told through the usual channels of gossip that they are quite smitten with each other. Of course, there is one obstacle.
And what is that, pray tell?
Romeo is at the house of Montague, and Juliet is a Capulet. The two families simply don't gel. A feud exists between them.
If I wanted a man, I'd never let a little thing like a family feud thwart me. Nay, I'd show them that I was the mistress of the situation.
Aye, but families have a way of creating more tragedy than our beloved William Shakespeare ever did. That's why I thought I'd drop by, on my way to attend to this pound of flesh business, to give the immature Juliet the benefit of my legal advice.
Just between us girls. 'Tis whispered about in the most exclusive of circles that our friend Beatrice had made a young gentleman of Padua a Benedict. A choice bit of gossip.
Thou shouldst not repeat such idle chatter, Catherine. You'll make much ado about nothing.
Nice. And who, pray tell, loved a story of intrigue better than our Mr. Shakespeare? Didst he not create a Tempest?
Good one.
And the affair of Caliban and Ariel? Or the sorry plight of poor Ophelia?
Aye, poor Ophelia indeed, jilted by the melancholy dame. Truly a case of love's labour lost.
Seriously? A sour-faced, gloomy man, that Hamlet, given to soliloquies.
Aye, no wonder poor Ophelia has gone mad.
From Romeo and Juliet.
To Hamlet, Shakespeare's ladies have a history of being royally screwed over.
Follow Ophelia, and let her out of this toxic relationship.
Portia, material girl of Venice. Romeo and Juliet? How about Dumb and Dumber, the origin story?
What's your play again? Oh, right. Taming of the Shrew. More like calm down,
Whoa!
Sorry.
Follow us on this adventure.
More like aggravation.
To teach the young Juliet a thing or two about love. When
Shakespeare's Ladies Meet by Charles George.
Aye, no wonder poor Ophelia has gone mad.
Mad? Thou makest an understatement. She's as nutty as a Yuletide fruitcake.
But soft, she is nigh. Be not harsh with her, but humor her and cajole her.
Aye, she comes, the lady with bats in her belfry.
Where am I? Where am I? Canst anyone tell me?
Thou art in Juliet's garden in Verona.
Aye, Juliet's garden. And is this the fair Juliet?
Gadzooks! No! I am Catherine, beloved of Petruchio.
I have heard of thee, a woman of bombast and tirade.
What sayest thou?
Be not afraid, my child. Her bark is worse than her bite.
Ah, a quotation. It reminds me of my Hamlet. Alas, poor Hamlet, I knew him well, a fellow of infinite jest,
As funny as a crotch.
of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now how poured in my imagination it is. For Hamlet, in the trifling of his favour, holdeth a fashioned and torn in blood, a violet in the youth of primary nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume of suppliance in a minute, no more.
Poor Ophelia.
She's nuts.
Hast thou heard of Romeo and Juliet? 'Tis said they're in the throes of romance.
Aye, 'tis known to everyone save the Montagues and the Capulets.
I have come to warn her of the pitfalls of love. She must not suffer as I have. Oh, had I but listened to my brother Laertes, ere 'twas too late.
Romeo's a gay young blade, full of high spirits and the joy of living. His father's alive, therefore he'll not have to deal with his father's ghost as Hamlet did.
His father's ghost. Aye, that didst upset my Hamlet and make him do his mother dirt. 'Twas all a sorry mess, and I have sworn that Juliet shall not thus suffer. Aye, for love is but a vain and doubtful good, a shining gloss that fadeth suddenly, A flower that dies when it first begins to bud. A brittle grass that's broken presently.
Enough with all this philosophizing. Let's call the maid Juliet and give her the works. Juliet! Juliet!
Like, what?
Come here.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Like, deny thy father and refuse thy name, or it won't be but sworn by my love, and I'll no longer be like Capulet.
She's got it bad.
She's wandering in the realms of romantic fancy.
'Tis a shame to disturb her ecstatic musings.
Oh, swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon, that monthly changes in her like circled orb, lest thy love prove likewise like variable.
Moon? What is broad daylight? She's raving. Snap her out of it, Portia.
Juliet, come out of thy trance. We would speak with thee.
Juliet!
Like, where am I?
Now art among his friends, good friends, who have come to bring thee counsel.
Oh, welcome, pets. I mean, ladies. Thrice welcome. But tell me, why am I so honored with thy presence?
We have heard that thou art enamored of young Romeo. Is this true?
I, Romeo, the god of my idolatry, my love's true passion.
He's off again.
But he is Montague, while thou art a...
'Tis but his name that is his enemy, like what is in a name that which we call a rose by any other name. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that like dear perfection which like he's owed.
But thou wilt tragedy when thou dost disregard parental objection.
Come, what sorrow can, it cannot contravail the exchange of joy that one short minute in his sight gives me.
I see that thou art determined, so be it. So from these ladies assembled here, thou shalt learn the pitfalls to avoid along the pathway to love.
Pitfalls? What meanest thou?
In other words, we're here to give you the lowdown on men.
For all of us have had experience in plenty.
Thou must not suffer, Juliet, my sweet.
Suffer? Love does not bring suffering.
Love is merely a madness.
I am well aware that the course of true love never is smooth, and that the youth has wild hair. To skip o'er the meshes of good counsel?
I'm listening, Portia. Proceed with counsel.
Art thou certain that thou lovest Romeo?
Oh, what meanest thou?
Hast thou not had any other suitors?
None. Romeo is my first and only love.
Well then how canst thou be sure of thy love for him? There's none by which thou canst make comparison.
Dost thou need a whole bouquet of flowers to be certain of the beauty of like one rose?
Thou sayest a mouthful, Juliet.
Thou hast had a whole lot of boyfriends, Portia. The Neapolitan prince, the county palatine, the French lord, Monsieur Le Bon, the Falcon Bridge, the young baron of England, the Scottish lord, his neighbor, and others.
Thou hast been doing all right for yourself, Portia.
They are fortune hunters, the whole kit caboodle of them.
Fortune hunters?
Aye, they're after your Mizuma.
Mazuma?
I know not what thou meanest.
'Tis the bitter truth I speak. 'Tis a well-known fact to all of Willie Shakespeare's followers. They art after thy dough. Thou art a very wealthy woman, Portia, so beware, or they'll like take every dime of it.
Thy needs not concern thyself, Juliet. I look not with favor on any one of them.
But there is one with whom thou dost look with extreme favor.
Meanest thou whom?
Of a nation, a scholar, and a soldier that came hither in the company of Marquis of Montferrat, the young Bassiano.
Thinkest thou that Bassiano is after my wealth?
You said it, Portia, my friend, so go easy. He who stumbles runs fast into thine own self. Be true.
Thou certainly hast a mind of thine own, young Juliet.
Aye, Catherine, just as thou hadst before Petruchio tamed you.
Oh, thou knowest about...
The taming of the shrew? Who doesn't?
Well then, Juliet, a word of advice. Never let Romeo get too bossy.
I mean not thy warning, Kate.
Kate?
For that's your name, so I hear.
They call me Catherine. That do talk of me.
You lie in faith, for you are called Plain Kate and Bonny Kate, and sometimes Kate the Curse. Good reason hath Pistachio for taming you, you wasp!
How dare you!
'Tis the bitter truth I speak. It's a well-known fact. When thou get hot under the collar as thou art at present, 'tis but a feeble echo of thy former self. Unknit that threatening unking brow, and dart not scornful glances from those eyes. It blots thy beauty as frostbite, and so thence is amiable.
Thy husband, thy lord, thy head, thy keeper, thy sovereign. I am ashamed that women are so simple to offer war when they should kneel for peace, or seek for rule, supremacy, and sway, and they are bound to serve, love, and obey.
Truly, Pistachio has tamed a cursed shrew.
'Tis a wonder she was tamed so.
Well, you don't know Patricio, as I do. Oh, what a man!
Did thou never cast a roaming eye at anyone but Romeo?
None. Romeo is my first, last, and only love. I have made a thorough study of the art of love, and I am determined that the romance of Romeo and Juliet will go down in history as like the most perfect romance ever.
What about the ending, Juliet?
We'll end our romance together.
Will it be a tragic end?
Some may think so, but for us, it will be an ideal accumulation.
Thou canst not tell the child Juliet anything. All of us have found that out.
But at any rate, it's been a charming afternoon, and all's well that ends well. When shall we, meet again?
In thunder, lightning, or in rain.
When the battle's lost or won.
If our Shakespeare we've offended,
Think but this, and all is mended.
Though you have but slumbered here,
While these visions did appear,
Scholars do not reprehend.
if you pardon, we will mend.
all the liberties which we took.
with Master Willie Shakespeare's book,
For really we have studied hard.
All the phrases of the bard.
and this our joke. How indiscreet!
Really, what might happen?
When Shakespeare's ladies meet.
Yeah, it was like the part where I was we skipped a part with like 10 She's taking photos. I'm gonna cry again.
It's okay, you're a pretty crier.
No, I'm not.
Oh, wait.
Detention. He's right there.
Stop the free.
Okay, now it's the serious pros. I just need to do it. Oh my god.
Yeah!
Where'd you go? I'm sorry. I don't like this. Just modify it. It's not to get worse, it doesn't make sense.
We all know what happens. That's the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming outside.
I am not superstitious and I am not a sissy. If a doctor tells me there's nothing wrong with doing something, then I consider the matter settled. So much panic around pregnancy seems like fussy, yuppie nonsense. Personally, I judged all the women who followed all the rules so fastidiously, like getting edgy around deli meat and treating coffee like crack. I would teach my child the power of fearlessness. And tell him, when you were in me, we went to the edge of the world. I was truly scared of nothing. Except those Mongolian winters, of course. Pregnancy is one of the greatest wonders of life. A woman's body changes and transforms into a vessel capable of carrying life. But pregnancies don't always go as planned, and tragedies do happen. So you do everything you can to minimize that risk. And the rules do not apply. Arielle Levy recounts her pregnancy experience as she embarks halfway across the world on an excursion to Mongolia on business. Balancing home and work made her this experience into one she'll never forget. The rules don't apply, by Arielle Levy. To be pregnant is to be in some sort of discomfort pretty much all the time. I felt nauseated but hungry. I had this perpetual headache and I longed for my bed. This all passed but a week before Mongolia. Now a new pain was developing. Round ligament pain is what everybody who had read every prenatal website told me. The uterus was expanding to accommodate for the size of the baby, making me look truly pregnant rather than just fat. The thought comforted me on my 14-hour flight to Beijing while I shifted endlessly in my seat, trying to find a position that didn't hurt my round ligaments. When we landed, it was morning, but the gray haze made it look like dusk. Me and my associates traveled to a French restaurant, then to an underground bar. I liked the thought of being in a dark room, in a booth, but my body was starting to feel strange, so I ended the night early. But when I woke up the next morning, I was still in this insistent pain. The baby's starting to kick, right? That's what everybody said would be happening by now. But I called home just in case. My friend Lucy told me to find the number to a Western clinic. So I emailed my Mongolian contact, found my doctor's number, and scrawled it on my notepad. Then I went out to interview the people. I started with the herdsman and conservationist who had become a folk hero when he fired shots into a mining operation diverting water from nomadic communities. We met in the sleep lobby of my hotel with the translator I hired. In the middle of the interview, the translator stopped talking and looked at my face. I must have been showing some sort of discomfort, so I explained my situation to the herdsman. I felt this surge of pride. He told me that I was so brave for traveling so far in my condition. But I was starting to worry. My body was starting to feel strange. So I ran back to my hotel and I crouched on the bathroom floor, just as I had in Cambodia a decade earlier when I had dysentery. But the pain of that position was unbearable, so I got on my knees. And after a second, I felt an unholy storm rush through me. And then all of a sudden, in front of me was a person. And he was alive. And his arms and legs were moving. I heard myself say out loud that this can't be good. But it looked good. My baby was as pretty as a seashell, but small and translucent. For a length of time I could not delineate. I sat there awestruck. hair's fixed on every finger, toe, his eyebrows, his lips opening and closing the new world, breathing in the new world. All of it was miraculous and astonishing. I tried to think of something maternal I could do to convey to him that I was his mother. So I just kissed him on the forehead. Then he started to turn purple. So I bled my way across the room to the phone. I laid him on the bed and dialed the number I had scrawled hours earlier. A voice answered, and I told him that I had given birth in the Blue Sky Hotel and I was only 19 weeks along. He told me my baby would not live. He's alive now, I told him, staring at the person on my bed. He understood, but said that my baby would not make it. Before I put my phone away, I took a picture of my baby. I knew that if I didn't, I would cease to believe he even ever existed. When the pair of Mongolian EMTs burst into the room, I stopped feeling competent and numb. Cry, the woman said. And you just cry and cry and cry. I felt unable to do anything but cry and cry and cry. As we lay in the back of the ambulance with him wrapped on a towel on my chest, I watched the frozen city flash by in the windows. It occurred to me that I was going to go mad. Then at the hospital, there were more IVs and needles and bright lights, and I let go of my baby. That was the last I ever saw of him. He was on one table. I was on the next, lying still under the screaming lights. So little had truly gone wrong for me before that night on the bathroom floor, and I knew surely as I do now that it was my fault. I boarded that plane out of vanity and selfishness, and the dark Mongolian sky punished me for it. It occurred to me that maybe I should just go home. But at first I couldn't just go home. I lay in the bed, eating Snickers and scrolling through television programs that seemed as bleak, strange as my new life. They had put a white bath mat on top of the biggest blood stain. A white bath mat where I had crouched and given birth to my son. I watched it as it seeped through red and then brown. I stared at it. And I watched the frozen city on the outside of my windows. But mostly I just looked at my baby. Oh, yeah, now it's Winnie Huber with her serious prose.
Yay!
Don't make me laugh like Becky did last year.
Oh my god. No, I literally laughed during a final round, and I felt so bad, and I was not allowed to watch it. Yeah.
I'm Romania. Yeah.
Oh yeah, her name is arsonist. Yes.
It was funny. And then I like basically we got kicked out of finals. Well, not really, but like.
Girl, I was barely watching her speech at all.
Why did all of those people decide to come in and help?
Because I want to watch yours.
Because the other room's dog.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You ready?
Addie, wake up! Addie, you've got to wake up! A grunt. A groan. It was 2 a.m. What did I expect? Addie, sister, dearest darling. Come on, wake up! Only the most important discovery of all time has just been made, and it's about to rock your world. Because I did it. I got in there. That's right. I was brave, and I crept down the hallway, and I used a hairpin, and I got in a locked room. Oh, Addie, it was beautiful. So very beautiful. There, on a hanger in the closet. It was hers. It was Mama's wedding dress. And it was so beautiful. Just the way I imagined it. We all cope with loss differently. Some turn to food for comfort. Others to alcohol and drugs. Others may find solace inside their own minds. May has an older sister, Addie, to whom she tells her secrets. They laugh together, play together, and deal with their mother's loss together. However, there is more to this relationship than meets the eye. Addie and Me by Ronald Mickey. Oh, Addie, you've got to wake up and listen to me. What I'm telling you is at long last, I found it. It's so pristine and pure and beautiful. You've never seen a dress so pure, Addie, in all your life. Oh, she must have looked so beautiful on her wedding day. So sweet and lovely and beautiful. As she was sweet and lovely and beautiful always, with her eyes shining and her bright smile. I know. Don't go in there. Strictly forbidden. Off limits. Painful memories department. But this is Mama we're talking about. Mama who's no longer with us. Who died in the hospital 3 years ago. Who was kind and good to us. Who loved and cared for us. But then was stricken with that awful cancer. Truly awful. And then she was gone. Father couldn't take the death of Mama. He was so angry at the world for taking away the love of his life that he hid away in his room for years. I know what he said, Addie, but I've been curious, so intensely curious. As these days passed by and the weeks and the months, I just had to see for myself. Even if he couldn't bear to look. Even if it was too painful for Daddy to relive. That room, the door always locked. The memories hidden in that dress. Oh, but we have to see, Addie. Don't you understand? It's important for us to see, even if it might be painful. I miss her so much. I remember her sitting quietly on the couch with her knitting. She always kept an eye on me, May, the mischief maker. She loved me, Addie, and she watched over me, always. At night, she'd tuck me in bed and she'd pull the soft covers over me. We'd tell each other things, our little secrets. And she'd whisper sweet nothings into my ear until I fell asleep. And then she'd gently stoop down and
give me a kiss on the cheek. She loved to read us stories. The voices she did made us laugh. But the laughter faded the sicker she got. The stories began to disappear, and her voice became weary. I didn't even recognize her before she died. She still had a beautiful heart, but her exterior didn't show it. She was crumbling into a weak version of the strong woman I had always known. So come on, Addie, get up. Let's go down the hall and you can see for yourself. You can see the dress that's so fragile and beautiful and delicate, the way she was fragile, but at the same time, so strong. I always felt that she would never let anything happen to me. She, with that look, you know, the one that said, back off, when somebody got wise with us or things got out of control. She kept an eye on me, Addie, and she loved me, always. So come on, get up. You can see for yourself. Of course you can see. And it's all right that we pretend. Of course it is. That you're my sister. It's all right that we pretend. Even though I made you up, imagined you. It's all right that we pretend. And I can pretend to take you down the hall and pretend to make you see. Because it's painful, Addie. Don't you understand? Being an only child and losing your mother so suddenly without a sister or a brother to cling to. Growing up with just your father there, because that was how it had to be. Growing up with the pain, the loss, just the two of you. So, of course it was all right to invent a sister, dearest Addie, a sister who'd be close to you and share things and see Mama's dress. Only, of course, Mama's dress isn't really down that hall, behind that door, on that hanger. Maybe it was once, but Daddy had given it to Mama's sister as a keepsake. Her poor, lonely sister. When it had become too much, too very, 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 very painful for him to endure. And now there's only an empty closet where there had once been so much joy. Only an empty closet where there had once been the fondest of memories. But let's pretend, Addie. Let's pretend you're here with me. Mama would have wanted that. She always said she wanted another girl. And so it was all right, honestly, for you to pretend to be here with me. You, who would always be a loyal and devoted sister to me. Let's play patty cake, like Mama and I used to. Patty cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Roll it, pat it, and mark it with an A. A for Addie. And put it in the oven for Addie and me. And we'll laugh, oh how we'll laugh, and share secrets and stories like two little sisters, and how very much joy there will be. So come on, Addie, get up. Don't go to sleep on me now, Addie, not now. Please, not when there's so much to treasure. Not when Mama's dress is hanging in that closet, looking so beautiful, so wonderfully beautiful. Addie, don't go to sleep on me now. Not now, Addie. Be a sister to me. Let me have my dreams, Addie, please. Let me have my dreams since Mama can't anymore. Say you'll be here. And say Mama's dress will be here with us. Always. Addie. Addie, please. Addie.
Steve Gregory
Yes.
with our humorous prose.
And Owen, right? They put me last to lighten up the mood, so you guys didn't go home with this. Sad though. Anyways, here's me. Can I start? Go pee! What? Oh, not you, baby. I meant Murphy. Two things you should know about Cindy. One, she could not remember names, so by default, everyone became Baby. And two, she owned the ugliest dog on the planet. It was a 6-pound all-white rat terrier that looked more rat than terrier. It had a perpetual snarl because it once got in a bad fight with a cat. It ripped its top lip completely off. That's a good boy. Come to mama. Is that all then? Life is full of twists and turns, and all of us must endure change. Sometimes this change can be a walk in the park. Other times, not so much. For Haley, moving from a small town in Nebraska to New York City is anything but easy. She meets Cindy, the loud apartment complex manager. Jerry, the old maintenance man and security guy. Jerry introduces her to her lovely neighbors. Hildy, the wannabe internet star who loves cats. And Mo, the ex-comedian turned pharmacist. Luckily, she finds her place in this crazy environment and makes some friends along the way. An apartment complex by Charlie Allen Evans. Well, you're gonna need a key, baby. This is the city now. Where did you say you were from? A small town in Nebraska. Have you ever lived in the city before, baby? No, but I think I'll be just fine. Oh, dear Lord. Jerry! Jerry? Jerry! Jerry, Haley. Haley, Jerry. Haley! Jerry. Jerry here's our maintenance man and security guy. He donated his brain to science before he was done using it. If you have a problem, he's the one to call. If you hear a weird noise, he's the one to call. Now Jerry's gonna take you to your apartment, baby. Murphy and I will come check on you later. Alrighty then, Miss Nebraska. Let me help you with your things. Whoa, what is that? You can't have a gun in the city. We have laws here. This ain't the wild, wild west. It's just my BB gun. It's not gonna kill anyone, but a well-placed shoot sure can do some damage. I was in 4-H shooting sports. Oh, Lord have mercy. You take that thing and fuck crying out loud. Be careful with it. Alrighty then. This way, Miss Nebraska. I'll introduce you to some of your neighbors along the way. Hildy, you in there? We got a new neighbor all the way from Nebraska. Pleased to meet you. Do you mind if I video you? Video me? Now? Hildy takes videos all day long. I have my own YouTube channel. I just posted a video last night. If this video gets 18 more thumbs up, this month's check will be up to $32. Whoa, what's that? Oh, it's just my BB. Okay, next door. See you later, Hildy. Come back tomorrow. I'll put you on my blog. Small town girl endangers lives of New York citizens with weapon of mass destruction. All right. Mo! You in there, Mo? His name's not really Mo, but I call him Mo. Short for molasses. Get it? Huh? Huh? Mo's a pharmacist. He used to be a comedian, but he quit. Said all the laughing wore him out. Mo! You in there, Mo? Who's there? Jerry!
Jerry, who?
Jerry, think you'd like to meet a girl from Nebraska?
Mo, this is your new neighbor, all the way from Nebraska. That's terrible. Actually, no, I like Nebraska. Even worse. You don't know that is terrible. What's that? Doing some coon hunting later? So, Jerry tells me you're a pharmacist. Yes, I read bad handwriting all day long. And then I come home. Oh, I hope things lighten up for you. Is that a fat joke? Oh, no, I didn't. Just joshing your tots. Gotta go water my ficus. Toodaloo. Alrighty then, Miss Nebraska. Here we are. Apartment 3. You live on the bottom floor, but you won't be seeing your upstairs neighbor much. She almost never comes down, only to go to the occasional protest. You won't hear much of her either. Only a little crying when the news comes on. Crying? She's a 20-something still getting used to the last presidential election. That was like a year ago. Exactly. Yeah, are you all settled in, baby? Murphy and I came to bring you a map of the city and a card with the number for 911. Oh, Murphy, where are you going, baby? Looks like he's going to see that big chemical cat over by the pool. Oh, no, Murphy. Don't do it. He'll kill you this time. What's happening? Murphy's going to see the big cat over by the pool. An eye for an eye, a lip for a lip. Who's winning? I can't see. It's just a big mass of claws and teeth and fur. Oh, Murphy, somebody do something! Dang it, I forgot my camera. A cat video is happening right now and I'm not recording it. Quick, what's the number for 911? I promise you I didn't even think about it. There was a problem and needed a solution. I had a gun. Oh, Murphy! You killed my Murphy, baby! Oh my! Breathe, dog! Breathe! Oh, Murphy! You saved my Murphy, baby! Oh, about the cat. I'm not really big on doing mouth-to-mouth on cats. Oh, that's not really a big problem. I wasn't much of a cat person anyways. Does anyone else want to do it? Oh, do it. Thank you for saving my baby, Haley. You called me Haley. You remembered my name. I guess I did. You know what? For your bravery, you get your first month's rent free. This will be a huge hit. We're recreating the whole thing tomorrow. Somebody go find the cat that isn't dead yet! You know what, Haley? I think you'll fit just right in here. Yeah, as long as she doesn't use that thing on us. Ouch! There's sharpshooters on our side. Welcome to the family, Haley. And that, my friends, is how this small town girl found her place in the big city. Thanks everybody for coming. We had a great recording. One more. Oh, crying. Okay, now here's Jace Gregor.
Okay, so one time, sometimes at lunch I like to bother Mr. Rogge because I think it's funny. so picture this. I'm sitting here, right, eating whatever was for lunch that day. And I go, Mr. Rogge, and he comes over, and he's like, boy, Jace, what's going on? And so I'm like, hey, yo, Mr. Rogge, do you like Taylor Swift? And he's like, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of her. And then I decided at homecoming that I was going to do a speech on him. And then it was kind of a flop, but it's still funny. So now I can.
What was the point of the deal? You're forgetting that.
Oh, yeah, so if I
So if I was still doing this, if I had made it to state, Mr. Rogge would sing Taylor Swift in front of the whole school, but I still think he should do that anyway. All over We all want it. Okay, so Mr. Rogge, this one's for you.
Wait, when's the last time you did this?
So long. Oh, girl, it's been like Howl's Dodge.
Okay, so the second week of January. All right.
So it might be a little rough, but we'll get the point. Recently, my school got a new principal. He's a pretty good guy. I like asking him questions at lunch, such as, do you like Reagan and I's matching socks? Do you like Bears and Cream? Do you like Taylor Swift? He said no. Unacceptable! This is why my principal should like Taylor Swift. Okay, y'all, I need your help. You need to pretend to be my principal so I can practice giving this speech to him. First, let's build a playlist of Taylor's best songs. Next, let's go to the movies and watch her best moments on the silver screen. And finally, let's dive into her personality. All of these reasons will prove that without a doubt, my principal will be a Swiftie. First, let's build a playlist of Taylor's best songs. Taylor has a whopping 10 albums. Taylor Swift, Fearless Taylor's version, Speak Now, Red Taylor's version, 1989, Reputation, Lover, Folklore, and Evermore. Every single song Taylor Swift has made has been amazing, wonderful, enchanting, and One day, as I was walking down the hall, I noticed you talking to one of our town's police officers. And me, being the jokester I am, decided to go, hey, am I going to jail for being too cool? Hilarious, right? You know what's not hilarious? The fact that you said I'm going to jail for liking Taylor Swift. If anything, you should be the one going to jail for not liking her. And you'll never believe what that officer had the audacity to say. He called her music lame! Lame! If anyone's lame here, it's you! For not liking Taylor Swift. Next, let's go to the movies and watch her best moments on the silver screen. Taylor Swift was in the best movie known to mankind. The Lorax. Taylor played Audrey, lover of trumpet trees. I can't believe you haven't seen this movie. How do you sleep at night? Oh, yeah. Taylor Swift was also in The Giver. It's not as good as the Lorax, but it has Taylor in it, so it's a win. Do you want to know another movie that has Taylor Swift in it? Hannah Montana the movie. A true American classic. I bet you would love that movie. And for the sole purpose of Taylor being in it. Her performance of Crazier makes me go crazier for her. I mean, she can rap, sing, act, and has good taste in men. Sometimes. Finally, let's dive into her personality. Taylor is stylish, independent, and kind. Taylor has been known for her stylish outfits she wears to award shows, music video shoots, and even just out and about. You could use some help with your song. Those khakis, blue shirt, and sweater bags every day are not the move. Hashtag old man vibes. Taylor Swift is never going out of style. And can we talk about how independent she is? She's getting her music back by She now owns Lover, Folklore, Evermore, Fearless Taylor's version, and Red Taylor's version. What do you own? How many Grammys do you have? She has as many Grammys as you have sweater bags. We love an independent queen. And finally, she's super sweet to her fans. She sends them Christmas and Hanukkah presents. In 2015, she donated $50,000 to a fan with cancer, and she thinks of them as friends, not fans. I have never once received a Christmas present from you, Mrs. Robinson. I am not your friend, nor your fan. But you admit that you like Taylor Swift. The evidence has been presented. I hope it's enough to convince you to love this talented blondie. First, we built a playlist of Taylor's best songs. Then we went to the movies. Her best moments on the silver screen. And finally, we dove into her personality. I know all too well that Taylor Swift is the best artist America has ever had. You will be part of the Swiftie Nation. Taylor Swift, #1 on the charts, #1 in our hearts.
Yeah.